What's up, Hacksters? Welcome to Hackster Café. I'm really excited to have Helen Leigh on this week, who is an amazing tech artist, music artist, textile artist, as well as at Crowd Supply, head of community, and you are running this year's Teardown conference. How's it going,
Indeed,
Helen?
I am. Yeah, it's going good. I am busy making final preparations for everybody to join us in the Lloyd Center, which is the semi-abandoned mall in the center of Portland, which we hold Teardown in. Teardown is 3 days of hacking, open hardware, small-scale manufacturing, and tech discussions. We've got hacker art, we've got workshops, we've got 2 tracks of talks, we've got delicious food, and we've got a really great lineup as well. So this year, our keynotes are Cory Doctorow, who's going to be talking about the enshittification of hardware.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Kate Stewart, who is VP of Embedded at Linux, also on Kate's sheet is Zephyr and RTOS, so lots of great expertise from her. And then our third keynote is Andrew Bunnie Huang, who is the hardware hacker behind Novena, behind Precursor, behind many, many, many different awesome projects. And he'll be joining us to give an update on his latest project, looking at how we trust chips and how we verify chips. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. Very much focused on practical stuff. So you'll learn about tariffs, you'll learn about small scale manufacturing, that kind of stuff. But then also lots of kind of math and science and other awesome nerdy stuff. Lots of space, lots of retro gaming as well. So something for everyone, really.
So you talked about retro gaming, and some of
Yes.
my favorite Crowd Supply products, indie products that I've seen come through have been sort of retro themed. Do you have any particular favorites? Horrible question.
I know it's a really horrible question. So we've got a few things coming in this year to Teardown that I really enjoy. So every year there's a collective in Portland that work with vintage and retro gamings, and they do like an installation called the Basilica of Beige, which is all beige computers, and of course you can play the Oregon Trail. It's compulsory. So that's really fun. We've also got, I don't know if you've heard, it's kind of a niche thing, but there's a guy called Zachtronics who
I know the guy.
You know Zachtronics? Well, Zachtronics is digging out a bunch of old games and will be playing, and you'll be able to play them there as well. So that's kind of exciting. I know that's kind of niche, but if you're into like hardware games, there we go. Yeah, Zachtronics will be there, so that'll be really fun.
Cool. And we've got Claire with There You Glow, which is really cool.
Exactly. There You Glow. We'll have a mini camp within it's a mini event within an event.
Wow. So much cool stuff.
Yeah.
I hadn't even scrolled through all these yet. Please go on.
Yeah, we're actually having for this time for the first year, we're having like a big. We've always had machines and we've always had like soldering irons and so on, but this year we're trialing like a larger makerspace area. There's the collaboration between Portland State University's electronics prototyping lab, a 3D printing group, a code cafe, and various other people, including someone who's done a DIY solder plate, someone who's literally just bringing a table full of crimping tools. So I know, right? So they'll just all be in one area where you can go and use the tools, and there'll also be ad hoc skill sharing sessions happening there as well. So you see those very workshops, they're kind of a bit more formal, you've got 90-minute sessions, but there'll also be like ad hoc, here's how to use a crimper, here's how to use an oscilloscope, let's drop in and learn how to do SMD soldering, that kind of stuff. So
nice.
That's new for this year, which is exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're going to be exhibiting something too.
I actually am. Yeah, it's not up there yet, but this year. So for those of you that know me from pre-Crowd Supply days, like I used to make projects and write about them. basically. And oh my gosh, my Instagram, oh my goodness, please, I haven't looked at that for absolutely forever. I'm
Same, I've just been posting music.
Yeah, for real. These are like ancient. This is all like from Berlin, basically. Oh my word.
But there's gonna be more stuff.
Yeah, there is. I actually do have like a website now. It's helenleigh.me. And of course, like every project, like any project website, it is completely unfinished, naturally. But yeah, so I haven't shown a lot of my work on the internet because I've not been on the internet very much. But also, I've been doing my job and figuring out how to exist in a new country. So this year, I've been trying to exhibit some of my old work again, or like remake it. Yeah, this teardown, I'll have a few of my old instruments there. Some of them will be working and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, which is quite fun. Yeah, you'll see there's my microphone. I've got a new version of Creature that's I've made, which is quite fun. Yeah, lots. It's I mean, it's been daunting, obviously, like, and obviously I can't put as much effort into it when I'm running the event, but it's been fun to like work on some of my own projects in the run up as well.
Legit.
Yeah, I wanted to turn up as my whole self, or attempt to anyway.
I appreciate that. We are indeed whole people. You are a whole person. I'm excited to dig through your stuff on your website as it,
Don't look too closely.
slowly gets built out. I know how that goes. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Shall we take a look at the schedule?
I would love to take a look at the schedule. I'm really happy
so
with
excited.
it this year. I know.
There's one of these. So this black hoodie thing I got really excited about, and I'm sure that I missed the window. But what is that?
Have you heard of black hoodie before?
I think I have. There was a time that I was doing the Wise Women in Security Engineering. Or I forget what it stands for exactly.
So Black Hoodie are a collective of folks, and they've done a lot of stuff at DEF CON and other security conferences, and it's hardware security training, I should say, by women for women, and it's always free as well. They administer it themselves, and we've just given them space this year. So this is the first year that they'll be coming to Teardown, but I really hope, I do very much hope that we'll be doing this again, because it's a great opportunity for a full day. We're getting the logic analyzer out, the oscilloscope out. It's like how to use all of these tools. So yeah, they did lots of different ones. This is their first time in Portland, I believe. So it's really, really awesome. And yeah, they had 15 spaces, and I think they've closed applications now. But if you are particularly interested in attending this on the Thursday, Alex, let me know and I can ask if there's.
I'm so interested.
Yeah.
I also don't know if I missed the cutoff, so maybe I squeaked in there. But who
knows? You did, but like I mean, deadlines are wibbly wobbly, aren't they?
Timey wimey.
Timey wimey, wibbly wobbly. Good. I'm glad you got that Doctor Who reference.
Yeah. Well, either way it works, or it doesn't work. There's lots of other cool stuff going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been fun. So Tektronix is a very big testing and measurement company based in Portland, or I should say like right next to Portland in Beaverton. And twice a month they have their big supply, their big, what do you call it? Their surplus store is open twice a month. So they're open on Tuesday 2 till 4. And the folks next door at the Vintage Tech Museum are going to be opening specially for us, because they heard there's a bunch of nerds in town who might be interested in looking. I mean, look at this website. Does this not look like something you might enjoy going to?
Absolutely. Look at this vacuum tube. That's
I know. Yeah. So they've got like see, that's open once a week, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Except they're gonna open specially for us, and you can take the Max, the Portland light rail, all the way there as well, so you don't have to drive out. It's like a 30-minute light rail. Anyway, that's self-guided. It'll be the surplus is open 2 till 4, and the museum is open 2 till 5. So if you fancy that, go along. Now, I know that there'll be people going to pre-registration first, so like get their wristband and tell us that you're here, etc. And then people will head over. There's also, if you are looking to do these things in advance, we have got a Signal group that you can join. Details for that are in the first and second update that I sent out to
Wonderful.
To the Teardown attendees. Yeah. So yeah, that's Tektronix. And then later on that evening, also we'll have the Hardware Happy Hour close to the venue. So just a very informal, let's have a beer or whatever your tipple of choice is. Lots of non-alcoholic options, of course. You know, we're not, this is 2025 now.
Awesome.
You don't.
And you've been running a number of these hardware happy hours. So you did one before Open Hardware Summit.
I've done loads of them, to be honest. So the Hardware Happy Hour, if I remember correctly, was originated in Chicago by Chris Gamble and Drew Festini, who I know a little. Yeah. And then, you know, there's loads of them. There's a whole Discord with, you know, Hardware Happy Hour Seattle, Portland, yada, yada, yada. So nobody owns like Hardware Happy Hour. It's just like a format for community meetups that's a bit more informal than like a hardware meetup where you might give a talk or whatever. It's supposed to be low barrier to entry, projects on tables, kind of bring a hack style, if you remember that. Yeah. So I just do them when I go somewhere as just a way of let's meet up and talk about hardware. It's nice. It's like low barrier to entry. You can come for one drink and leave again. You know, obviously that's not the circumstance for the Teardown Hardware Happy Hour. People are going to be hanging out all evening. But generally speaking, I run Hardware Happy Hours to allow people to dip their toe in and leave again.
Solid.
Yeah.
Which is great for me as an introvert. I'll often just show up just fairly late and then be like, and like,
then
all the cool stuff and like all the cool people, and then like,
yeah, exactly. You know, everyone's got different levels at which they're comfortable interacting. So, you know,
then you get into a conversation like for a half hour on one topic with one person. And,
yeah,
really
we're
good.
all we're all hyper-specific nerds who can talk about one topic. Like,
or like three. Yeah.
Let's
take a look at this. So you've got really exciting looking foods going on. And
I know. They're all indie people as well. Like all of these, the places we buy from are independent, local businesses. This is a Japanese bakery that's absolutely banging.
It looks amazing.
Oh my goodness, yeah, they're so good. We're getting like little egg sandwiches and like and little donuts filled with beef curry or edamame curry. We've got different types of like buns, like Japanese buns and so on, and like all sorts of fun things. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I know. Okay.
So we're kind of taunting people who haven't got tickets, and I'd like to clarify real quick. Is it sold out?
It is sold out. It is so. Here we go. Yeah, look at that. If you sold out, oh my goodness. Do you know that's the first time we've sold out?
Wow.
I know.
Congrats.
I know. So,
but also, you know, condolences to everyone who's not going to get to eat these delicious buns. I realized that's a little bit like, so.
I'm so sorry about that. The buns won't be available online afterwards, but the talks will.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that really quick before we jump into the schedule.
So why not?
This YouTube channel.
So we do have a YouTube channel. All of the talks will be up there within a week after the event. Our internet isn't really good enough for live streaming the whole thing. However, there may be a live stream, an independent live stream run by Bo. Do you know Bo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bo's bringing his big van up, and we might, but I'm not promising anything because it's an experiment. But yeah, hopefully
this is the way.
This is the
Awesome.
way. But yeah, we might stream. We'll see. We'll see.
Cool. Would that be on the if it putatively happens, would that also be on the Crowd Supply live channel here?
It would, yeah. And you can
Cool.
also check out our Discord. We've got a Discord channel for Crowd Supply, and there's a like a sub channel about Teardown where people will post things and so on.
Post things. Awesome.
Post things, yes. Imagine that, posting things on the internet.
So, and people can find the Discord link. Is this part of the general Crowd Supply?
Yeah,
Discord
yeah,
that you're doing
exactly.
down here?
Yeah,
Perfect.
exactly.
So go there.
We need to take our bird icon off and put a mastodon icon on.
Oh yeah.
We're not really posting on Twitter that much anymore.
Solid. And Mastodon is so full of hardware nerds. To me, it's like just walking down the street and running into a bunch of cool people doing cool stuff.
No, Mastodon's full of really awesome people. It's true. But yeah, no, we're sold out, which is quite exciting. We've got loads of volunteers. We've got absolutely loads of speakers. I mean, I'm sure things will go wrong. Like it's a live event. Of those things will go wrong. People won't turn up, or there'll be an emergency with their childcare or whatever. But you can't get everything. Something's going to go wrong. But what I like to call the minimum viable conference, like the core bit, right? We're sorted, right? You've got interesting people. You've got a venue. You've got insurance. You've got food. You've got drink. Like. We've got internet that's installed, so we've got lots of soldering irons,
Wonderful.
So that sounds like a good time to me, even.
Absolutely. I'm so stoked. I've been to a few teardowns like years and years ago, but I haven't been in the last couple of years, and I'm just so excited.
Alex, mall teardown. I mean, I don't wish to toot my own horn, but the mall teardown is
I'm so excited about it.
Teardown. It's just such a great vibe.
Yeah, it's got like a sort of 90s hacker vibe.
It really does. It really does. Yeah, it's got it's fun times. It's definitely fun times. And there's a service corridor, several of them.
You've posted some stuff from like other
my gosh,
other places you got keys to.
Yeah, it's creepy, huh? I love it.
Wonderful.
What else did I want to tell you? Oh yeah, the fun thing about the mall. Did you know who Tonya Harding is?
The ice skater?
The ice skater, yeah. So in the mall, in the Lloyd Center Mall, there is an ice rink, and it is one of the two places that Tonya Harding learned to ice skate.
Wow.
Fun fact, you too can ice skate on the Tonya Harding ice rink.
So bring your skating, your best like lycra lame little tool thingies.
As you wish, yeah.
Awesome.
And then there's go.
One final thing on this page about the sponsorship. Can people still sponsor the conference?
Yeah, they can. I think we've gone to press on all of the print things, but yeah, you can still sponsor. We get a couple of last minute sponsorships in every year.
Nice.
So if you want to get tickets, get sponsored, get shout outs, you are absolutely still able to do that. It's probably the only way to get a ticket at this point.
Legit.
Yeah.
So workarounds for people.
Yeah, for sure.
So here's a question. Actually, what were you going to go on with? Because it's I want to hear about that.
I honestly can't remember. So
I have unfortunately, I pulled you on here. Helen wonderfully agreed on short notice to do a spot promoting Teardown, and also I thought it was a great idea to be able to chat with you about all your cool stuff you've been up to lately. But yeah, so tons of cool stuff to talk about here. I'm also excited, actually, right under the sponsorship area, it talks about a code of conduct. That's always nice to see, just because, for people who are, who feel vulnerable, or people who feel like, if you want to know how to not have any problems, like, it's all laid out for you. Don't do those things, and you'll be fine.
I mean, you're not gonna never have any problems. Like, people are people, right? Mm-hmm. It's just that people should know that you have their back. Mm-hmm. Right, and that you should know, and they should know it's completely unacceptable. And believe me, like, I'm going to be extremely disappointed if any shenanigans goes on, and people will, and we'll take it very seriously.
Solid.
You know, we want to be a very inclusive conference, and that's also includes keeping people safe, you know, and listening to their concerns.
I have
We
definitely
are,
found.
yeah, we are pretty, it is pretty, you know, it's a pretty alternative conference, in a nice way. You know, I think we have we have a really good and interesting community that I'm very excited to welcome.
Yeah, and sometimes with these smaller conferences, it's a little bit more like of a close community, and people kind of
I agree.
feel
I
tied in.
agree.
How many people is it? Teardown conference?
We're gonna be between 350 and 400 people.
Amazing.
So, which is a nice number, I think. I think once you get above 400, 500, the event changes nature, you know? But below 400, I think everybody gets a chance to chat to everybody else. There's hierarchy, you know? Yeah. Should we take a look at the schedule again?
Yeah, I got it pulled up here.
Yeah, exactly. So where do we get to?
We got stuck on
Cory.
breakfast here. But
I know, right? We didn't even get to the first keynote. Yeah, so we got Cory Doctorow agreed to say yes. I mean, I messaged him and I was like, "Yo, Cory, do you want to speak on Mastodon?" I'm not friends with him. I don't know this guy. I messaged him. I just added him on Mastodon and asked him to speak, and he said yes. So, which was quite surprising.
I think he's doing a book tour currently, right?
He is indeed doing a book tour. And actually, if anyone is watching and they do not have tickets, but you do want to see Cory Doctorow talk, there will be a free to access. You don't need a ticket. You don't need anything.
Ooh.
The lunchtime on that first day, the Friday lunchtime, Bunnie, Huang, and Cory Doctorow will be in conversation at the Lloyd Center at Barnes and Noble. And that will be free to access. Here we go. Look, you can see it. And that's
talking about
anyone
things and
can go
books.
to that. Yeah, exactly. Talking about things and signing books. What more could you want?
It's
so
very
that's
cool
publicly accessible.
And Bunnie has also written is it called The Hacker's Guide to Shenzhen? It's something that you sell on Crowd Supply as well.
He's written a couple of things. There was the original crowd. It was the Guide to Shenzhen, which has actually been. There's a new version of that now that was based on Bunnie's original book, but was updated by Naomi Wu.
Incredible.
And that came out last year. So there's a, you know, like last time I went to Shenzhen was like pre-pandemic, and by all accounts it's changed a lot since then. So here we are. Yeah, this is the updated version. It looks great. I do love a red book as well.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it lovely? Yeah. So anyway, that was Bunnie's originally, but then Naomi did an update. He also did something called, oh gosh, was it called The Guide to Hardware Hacking or The Hardware Hacker's Guide or some such?
Yeah.
And that will be available at the Barnes and Noble, as will, you know, Cory's books, obviously, you know, but you'd expect that.
I wish I could remember what his latest book is called. I'm so bad with that. Oh man.
Something.
I think it's a
Picks and Shovels. Picks and Shovels is called.
There we go. And Bunnie's got an incredible blog as well.
Bunnie's blog is so good. He's seriously. I have to say, I've got so much good information from Bunnie's blog. He's also such a good speaker. If anyone is watching and they're unfamiliar with Bunnie's talks, I would really recommend you take a look at some of his old talks. There's one I really enjoyed. Gosh, what year was it? Maybe like the 2018 Congress. Bunnie did a talk about trusting hardware. It was all about like time of check to time of use, which is a term you use in software security a lot, and talking about how that term is completely problematic, you know, in hardware. Like, where do you inject where are the threats injected in during the hardware process? So it's a really, really interesting talk, and he's done lots of other interesting talks as well. So definitely go and check out some of his old talks if you're not familiar with him. But yeah, he's going to give a talk about. He's been working on this new chip verification imaging process, which is really cool.
Well, I'm stoked about that. I saw him talk in SF maybe like 10 years ago, and it was about it stuck me with me a lot because I'm fascinated by wearable tech, and a lot of it focused on security in wearable tech and how you build trust around a sort of what you hang all that sort of structure of trust off of at the base level. And then this concept that that really struck me, which was like cars as wearable devices or as prostheses, where like instead of putting something in your body, you're putting your body into the thing. And like I think I mentioned that maybe sometime recently, but I was like, so cool. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. He's also got an incredibly active link blog. But yeah,
he really does. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, so if we just scroll through, there's some space stuff, some workshops.
Really excited about Meshtastic.
Yeah, that one looks cool. Carrie Sandra talking. There's if you scroll down,
Sorry.
here we are. Like
I'm getting
there
tears.
is. We've got some low power from both Carrie Sandra and Joey Castillo, two excellent speakers. More fun workshops. Oh, this is the Repairers Hardware. This is the iFixit guy. Some fun math stuff.
Puzzle Hunt.
Oh yeah, Puzzle Hunt. And the Bleeps and Bloops Bike Ride. That's new this year as well.
At the same time.
At the same time. Yeah, well, we'll see what the weather's like.
You do have a lot of breaks, which I saw as an intention that you set for this. I'm very excited. The Puzzle Hunt for me is like an iconic component of Teardown.
It's true. It's true.
Oh my god.
Well, you might notice that it happens on Friday and Saturday this year. So there's two Puzzle Hunt specials, one before Autodesk and then one before the Control H party.
Cool. Well, that's very exciting because I'm going to be in there, and that probably means I'm going to be distracted from my talk, so I'd better be, I'd better be ready. Sorry for all the scrolling, folks. I'm going to set up in a second. Here we go. All right. So Saturday.
So yeah, then after Puzzle Hunt kickoff and some things on Friday night, we're going to Kate Stewart, his head of embedded at Linux. She did a lot of work on Zephyr. It's probably RTOS also. That's probably a pretty famous one that she used to work on. Yeah. Anyway, that's a pretty high level talk, followed by someone we may know.
Hell yeah! I gotta update this page because I think it's got like some other like small version of the talk, but there's so much more. And believe me, I've been packing so much stuff into this talk. I was filling out the outline yesterday, and it has gotten way too large. But fortunately, my talk was expanded to an hour, so now I'm gonna probably do around 45 minutes of mind-altering gadgets, aka nootropic devices, and then build a bunch of Q&A and like, so anyone who's interested in like doing weird stuff to your brain with technology, come talk to me, please. Okay, enough about that.
That sounds really exciting.
I'm gonna have so much hardware to bring in and share and show. So
that's super cool. Then
more
after
cool stuff
Alex,
at the same time, though.
Exactly. After Alex, then we get the Sri Lankan curry buffet, which was very popular last year. Charlene Gonda's glowy origami workshop is in the afternoon. That looks really fun.
Exciting.
Too. Yeah, we like a bit of Charlene. She's really awesome.
She does all kinds of stuff. Also runs a hardware happy hour.
Oh yes, of course
in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Well, half of hers are gone already. Good. Lots of people. There's some fun. Oh yeah, that's quite fun. The RISC-V SDK. Yeah.
All kinds of cool stuff.
Yes. Keep scrolling. I want to show you the.
This
one you'll like. 4 p.m. Raster art and KeyCAD from Chippy Doodles. Hands draw your circuit. This one's. I love the hands drawn circuitry look, so I'm really excited about that.
Oh, absolutely! I don't. We actually ended up talking on Friday for the first time.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I'm there. We both do like.
Oh, nice!
I love this kind of stuff, but we have completely different ways of doing it. So there's. I want to like pick up his method of doing hand drawing.
That's really awesome.
It's gonna be amazing.
Also,
the whole aesthetic. Can I just
I love the whole aesthetic. Yeah, do it. Bring it up.
Anwar. This is what Chippy Doodles makes. They're so beautiful. And so you should totally go look at those.
Okay. He makes some really cool. Actually, one of my highlights from last year was his workshop. He did a KeyCAD workshop that was taught by puppets.
Yeah.
which was so fun. I got a great picture of that last year. Like,
Look
there's
at
the
this.
traces. Yeah, exactly. These hand-drawn
Amazing.
things. Really cool.
So gorgeous. So,
Very cool.
uh,
Yeah, keep scrolling. Keep
keep it
scrolling.
pushing. Keep it
It wouldn't
pushing.
be without something microtonal. Uh, there's Puzzle Hunt Part 2. Then there's the Control H, which is one of the hacker spaces in Portland. We hold a garden party with a big taco bar.
Garden
Um,
party.
Garden
I'm so excited.
party. Yeah,
Also, I
should
gave
be.
kind of short shrift to the Autodesk hangout on the
Oh
first
yeah,
night,
yeah.
which
That's fun times.
it's also a
Beautiful view.
returning event.
Oh yeah. And we do we Autodesk host us every year. They get us some food. We have some drinks in their beautiful office, which overlooks the Willamette River. There's a roof terrace and all that. It's lovely. So
Very beautiful.
join us for that.
Okay, on to Sunday.
Sunday. Then we've got Bunnie is opening Sunday with a talk about trusting hardware.
Solid.
About tariffs. Oh yeah, actually that's quite
Ooh,
interesting.
yeah.
I know, right? And we'll
This
see
sounds
instead of
interesting too. Off the record with Bunnie,
yeah,
Kyle, and Cory and Nathan Emmerich.
indeed. So I think that sounds very interesting. That's what's taking over the workshop tracks. On the last day, we're doing off the record panel discussions. So we're not recording them. We'll just be having some chats. So we've got the right to repair session, and then there's also a manufacturing in uncertain times panel, which follows directly afterwards. Yeah. If you could, that also looks good. Yeah. If you could scroll up slightly, I forgot to give a shout out to you. So here on this, just above lunch, day 3.
Okay.
Here, this crowdfunding 101. This is by, I don't know if you've met Billy Huang.
Maybe.
Mini KVM. Anyway, this is like this is they'll be talking about how they did it as somebody whose first language is not English, and how they used like ChatGPT or other tools to be able to communicate. So there's definitely this has got a focus on running a campaign as somebody who has English as a second or third or whatever language. And these people are really interesting. Yeah, I love these folks. So these folks are actually like tech art people, and they made this device for themselves so that they could add, like they could change, like alter installations without having to plug like a gabillion things in it. And it turns out like people who have server rooms also really, really want one of these things. But it was a surprise hit for them. They're
really
lovely.
cool.
They're really lovely. And they're just a really nice group of people. I'm very, very humble. They accept a lot of, they accept a lot of feedback from the community and try and do their very best in lots of different things. Anyway, they're lovely folks, and I've got no doubt that it'll be a really nice talk. I do like the focus on people who don't speak English as a first language, because anyway, so that's going to be an interesting talk from a different perspective. Then we've got Alvaro from the Reverse Engineering podcast, who we love, of course. We've got the Free Software Foundation will be there as well. That's Craig Topham. They're going to be talking about software licensing.
Oh man, there's too much cool stuff. I'm not familiar with this, but I'm a huge fan of people who are running websites on solar power, and so there's some run on Raspberry Pis and stuff. And I imagine if you're running it on a microcontroller, it's probably pretty power efficient. Although I could be wrong. So now I'm constrained. This is so interesting to me. Okay.
We've actually got quite a lot of low power things this year. It's the low power year, I guess.
Very cool.
So that's Sunday. If you scroll down a little bit more, we've got a couple more. Right at the end, we finish a little bit early on the Sunday to give people a chance to go home. Yeah, that's a funny talk. which is a bit, yeah. We'll
Hitchhiker's
see.
Guide.
Yep, exactly. Oh yeah, good. You got my Hitchhiker's Guide
It
reference
wouldn't
as
be
well.
nerds if I
Well,
saw
you know
someone
what?
referring to. Wait, can I?
Huh?
I just have to have a little bit of a millennial rant for a second. This
Go for
morning,
it.
I saw someone referring to a Monty Python reference as an obscure British show from the 70s, and I was like, "Oh, my sweet child." On Reddit, of all places. But anyway,
On
okay.
Reddit, you'd
All right.
think they would know on Reddit.
I'm glad
Obscure.
though that the canon has been expanding enough that that could be like seen as like nowadays everyone like you mentioned Murderbot
Yeah.
and everyone flips out rightfully because that's an amazing series, but like yeah.
That's
So
funny. And then yeah, the after party as will be at Ground Control, which is this fun arcade bar in the center of
so cool.
Portland. They've got loads of, I mean, as you might expect, lots of games
Mm,
and machines and so on. And yeah, we're gonna be
hate
hanging out there
machines.
afterwards, you know.
Machines are the worst.
Machines. Yeah.
Good stuff.
It is good stuff. So and yeah, that's our show. Like there's a lot happening in 3 days. Loads of demos this year. I've been like struggling to fit them all in. We're having people share a table. Oh yeah, this one looks really awesome as well. Have you
What?
seen this?
No.
They bricked one of their devices.
Yeah.
This was a group of people who brought it back.
That's so cool.
So they're
Love.
going to be
There's also
showing their stuff.
tons of stuff about right to repair and repairing and
Oh
repurposing and
yeah,
hacking stuff. I
absolutely.
love it.
That is on purpose.
So the fact that you are a company that's focused around, not you specifically, Craft Supplies
Yeah,
company
yeah,
that's focused around bringing new things to market and does a great
yeah.
job of like doing that with indie folks and people who haven't like run their own company before. But also I love the fact that you're focusing so much on like hacking, repurposing, repair,
Mm-hmm.
end of life, continuation
Well,
of life.
we
It's
have
pretty fun.
a user bill of rights actually at Crowd Supply,
Ooh.
and it's not like enforceable, right? But it lays out what we expect our creators to abide by. Things like not selling, we're not selling people's data. People should be able to repair things.
Mm.
In order, so like my job when I'm not doing doing Teardown is a side quest for me. It's an annual all-consuming side quest, but on a day-to-day basis my job is I run the new project process. So people apply to us and we meet every single day to go over their applications, and we accept between 40 and 50 projects per year. So it's actually a pretty competitive process. One of the things that we select on is openness. We're not purists. We couldn't run a business if we had to, everything had to be full, so certain open hardware license or, full OSHWA certified. But we do require at least like firmware and schematics, and we do require that certain user rights are adhered to, so that is important to us, and funnily, part of it is sustainability, and not just,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about, everybody really cares about environmental sustainability, but really what I'm talking about here is sustainability of a project. If you as an indie maker are going to be around for 3 years, then I want to make sure that the people who buy your product actually own your product. And when in 3 years you decide you're doing something different, they're not just left with the paperwork, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
paperweight, they're actually left with something
Yeah.
that they can modify, they can repair if required. So that's really important in indie hardware, I think. Kind of, what are you going to be doing, you as an indie hardware person, what are you going to be doing in 5 years, and how can you ensure that the people who buy your products are able to have a good lifespan of the product.
This is really cool. I hadn't seen this before.
Yeah, we put a lot of thought into this. It's important to us,
Hmm. Everyone, this is
and
on
also,
the About
yeah,
page. Just click
so
on there.
And the other sustainability thing is independent financial sustainability as well, right? So if we want open hardware to be around, well, we need to make sure that open hardware creators have a viable way to make a living, right? So financial sustainability is a big part of sustainability. That's why I spend a lot of my time telling people to put up their prices, right? I mean, so the crowdfunding part for us is only the first part as well. Something like less than 20% of our revenue comes from crowdfunding. People don't realize this. Yeah. We're almost like a lot of what we do. So the crowdfunding really is like test of like it's proof of concept, right? Really. If you sell 20, if you sell 20K worth of units during your crowdfunding campaign, we will purchase an additional 20K of units up front, right?
Oh,
so
yes.
So basically that crowdfunding thing, it's like it all comes out in the wash. Most of our revenue comes from sales after the campaign.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and that helps with the financial sustainability. It's not like just one shot, right? So,
So you said that you spend a bunch of time telling people to put their prices up, and I see
amongst other things, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
true.
always a dilemma for people who make stuff, tending to undervalue their own work. Do you have any like sort of main tips or guidelines that you give people, or?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, like I could do an entire hour just on
I'm sure.
ways. I mean, it's one of the fun things about my job is I just get to see so many things that people are making. I get to see all of these different things, and I also get to see all the different ways people are pricing. I think within a certain subsection of open hardware, there is this idea that they want to make it really cheap, so it makes it affordable, so it makes it accessible. I think that's a mistake. I think you should be, as an open hardware creator, you should be trying to be a bit more selfish, because what we really need is for you to continue making open hardware. That's what we really need. And in order for you to be able to continue doing open hardware, you need to make sure that what you're doing is financially sustainable, unless you've got a trust fund, in which case, thank you for your service to open hardware. Have a nice time. But if you've got to pay your rent like most normal people, you're going to need to make sure that your project is like what you call washing its own face, right?
Washing its own face.
Right? Gosh, I didn't realize how weirdly idiomatically I spoke until I moved to the US. And then half of the things I say, people are looking at me with like this blank look, like, what on earth did you just say to me? I mean, like it can like take care of itself, right?
So let's see. Yeah. Let's talk about previous years of Teardown. What are some of your most memorable moments from prior events?
Well, last year was the first year that I ran Teardown. So this is my second year running Teardown. Last year was the first year we did it in the mall. We'd previously done it in academic institutions before that. So for me, last year was extremely memorable. It was the first time I'd run a conference. It was the first time I'd run Teardown. That whole experience was wild to me. But my highlight from that year, I would say I really enjoyed the massive ion microscopes. That was really cool. We had a dye rebonding machine. That was really awesome. And I like the fact it was situated next to a knitting machine as well. That I enjoyed. What else do I like? Oh yeah, as I said, I love the chipperdoodles, puppets, KeyCAD workshop. That was really cool. Yeah, that's from last year. What else? Oh gosh, yeah, I'd say something I really enjoyed from previous years was, I guess it might have been 2018 or 2019. It was called the Church of Robotron. And it's like this kind of trailer with a physical game inside that you play to become indoctrinated into the Church of Robotron. Yeah, this is
Praise the mutant.
Praise the mutant. Are you the mutant savior? I was not the mutant savior. I was extremely bad at Robotron and died quite quickly during the the game. Yeah, it was very good. I mean,
nice.
I'm really. Just something I really like about the Portland hardware scene is there's a lot of weird creative folks who make games and music and art and that kind of stuff, and that really plays well into Teardown. Like, we're very lucky that we get access. We get some really interesting people doing some really interesting stuff here. And being weird is definitely not frowned upon in this city.
Solid. It's also quite bikeable, which I've found to be really nice.
Bicycle. I was very surprised. I've been like bicyclist my entire life. Like, I only learned to drive a car when I moved to the US. And I'm so surprised by how cyclable and how lovely it is to cycle in Portland. They have like a grid system essentially just for cyclists, where you have better rights and it's like reduced speed, and like it's called the green neighborhoods. I'm a massive public transit and cycling nerd, amongst many other flavors of nerd. But yeah, I love the Portland Cycle Network. It's so fun. And also, something fun about Portland cycling is every year for 4 months of the year, there's this thing called Pedal Palooza, and it's a self-organized bicycle festival with community bike rides literally every single day, like several every single day for the whole summer.
Wow.
Which is so fun. And in fact, we're doing like one of the events, like on the Friday evening. The Bleeps and Bloops Bike Ride is part of this Pedal Palooza bike festival. So
very cool.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. Bike summer.
I used to run bike lights, like do your own bike lights workshops.
Nice.
And, a little harder when you don't have your own bike to customize up there, but
yeah,
I'm sure it will be amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool.
Dog. Yeah, no, it's exciting and fun. Yeah.
I have another question for you.
Yes, go.
So what did you, last year being your first year running this conference, and then this being your second year, changes, things you learned?
Just having the structure in place from last year. Like last year I had to write everything. So I was editing a lot of my stuff this year instead of having to do it from scratch, which was much easier. I learned that you should pay people to do your lifting and carrying for you who have training. Because otherwise you might spend 2 months after the event with a non-functional right arm. That's the biggest thing I learned from last year. So yeah, this year we're like paying people to do the moving for us, paying people for janitorial services and some security as well, just to give some peace of mind. So like getting staff in to do the core things so that your staff and volunteers can do all the other stuff. That's a huge weight off of, that's a huge burden removed from the organizing staff to get these external contractors. And that's a big thing. I know that seems like a small thing, but it actually is quite a big thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I mean,
so
it's going good.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about this venue in particular. As you mentioned, it was at sort of educational institutions before, and now it's at this mall where it's got this like, I heard a lot about the vibe, and I'm really curious to see what it's like. Well, in a good way. It sounds like it can be challenging to like have such an echoey space with like audio management and stuff, but on every other level, it's like very like almost like hackers type of vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Situation.
So I do have an improvement on the sound thing this year, in that both of the workshop tracks are going to be in a different unit.
Awesome.
So hopefully that will help with some of it, but we'll see. Maybe it'll just make it different echoes.
I mean, there's conferences I've been to that have been going for years and years that still have that issue. It's just a matter of, because like the fact of having a bunch of people doing, especially workshops where you've got people like with questions and maybe noisy things going on, and then someone trying to talk over that. Even when it's just one workshop, it can be difficult to manage that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Props.
So hopefully it will be a bit different this year. but we shall see. I guess it will definitely be different. It'll definitely be different this year.
Solid.
We'll see
Here's
if
a
it's
question.
better or not.
Yeah. If someone should people bring their rollerblades if they want to? Is
Do
that
you
something
know,
that's allowed in the mall?
there's actually a roller skating school in the mall. I don't think you can roller skate around the mall. It's like inside the mall, but there's loads of roller skating and rollerblading is kind of a big thing here, actually. And any of the bicycle things, there'll always be rollerbladers and roller
Nice.
skaters forming part of them. So if you do want to bring your rollerblades, there'll be several abandoned car parking lots for you to skate through, as well as some fun bleeps and bloops rides for you to take part in the evening. So yeah, do bring your
Awesome.
roller skates.
I
Do
am
bring your
personally
blades.
very bad at that, so I'll not be bringing them. But for those who are enthusiasts and maybe better at it, go ham.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, one more question for you, and then I think we'll go back through quickly all the stuff that we talked about and wrap up a little bit. Unless you have some final words, which we'll get to that. But are there other favorite events of yours? I've seen you at a million other events around the world, and what are some of your faves?
My faves are mostly in Europe. So I really love the CCC, the Chaos Computing Club. I really like their Congress event and their camp event. Congress is the one that goes on between Christmas and New Year's. That's a really fun party, but that's very hard to get to when you live in the US. They also do every 4 years, they do a summer camp, which you've not been to that, have you, Alex?
No, I've been there twice.
Oh, the camp. Oh yeah, of course you do. Duh. So there's the camp that happens every 4 years. I also really love EMF, which is the British one, which I think is the first place I met you, actually, Alex.
Yeah, that's the first place we met.
Yeah, I think so. EMF.
Good stuff.
Many,
Speaking
like
of camp, one thing that I'm bringing for my talk, I gotta interject really quick.
Sure.
The badge from Camp 2019. Oh, I'm not showing it. Here we go.
Which one?
Which is the
Oh, the
cardio,
cardio.
which I adore.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's a
remember the
perfect platform
cardio.
for. It's an evergreen device. I think it
I
has so much
agree.
going for it, and it was one of those ones that's like created with cooperation from some companies to make it possible and make it affordable. And sadly, I don't think that they are continuing it. Oh, you got yours? There.
No,
That's
this
the
is the
flower.
one that
That's
came
from
after.
last
Yeah,
time. Yeah, I
exactly.
did not go to the last one, but I've
This is a
seen
good one. Yeah.
Timon wearing it a bunch, and a bunch of other people continuing to hack on that.
It's a
Which
good
I love.
one.
They have this ongoing app store where people can continue to share code that they've written for these devices long after the events are over, which feeds into that whole thing about sustainability, the non-disposability of technology. Oh, okay, I'm ranting.
I've love that rant. I've worn this a lot after the event. It's a really useful little device, actually.
Super cool.
That's really cool. So I like those ones. I also rate SuperCon. I really like Hope, Hackers on Planet Earth. Hackers as well was pretty fun. I went to Hackers for the first time last year.
I went to that one a few years ago, but not since the whole pandemic situation.
Yeah. And of course, the Open Hardware Summit. The Open Hardware Summit is always on my list. Yeah. Always full of really interesting people. I just got back from the Open Hardware Summit in Edinburgh, actually, where I did a new workshop. I did a new workshop, and I did a talk. Actually, I did a talk about some of the pitfalls that people commonly fall into when they're sending us a project, a crowd supply. And I think that's a bit as well. So
I will have to check that out. I have never launched a product, but that's something that I think I'd love to learn more about, and especially doing it in like a sustainable sort of way.
Yeah, I haven't done a crowd supply campaign, but I did a Kickstarter for a book way back when, like many years ago. Or was it Indiegogo? I can't even remember. Some book. And I brought a product to market through P Maroni as well. But
cool.
I'm not which is like the British Adafruit for those of you
Yeah.
who don't know P. Maroney. Actually, Paul from P. Maroney will be at Teardown.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is a lovely person.
So you can come to Teardown and mingle with all the people that can answer
Yeah.
your questions about bringing a product to the indie
Indeed.
electronics market or
Yeah,
non-indie
yeah.
electronics market.
Yeah.
Like, this is the place to be, especially with Bunnie giving a number of talks and stuff like that. An incredible expert in that realm. And then, of course, Helen and all these people who are going to be.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Seen it
And
all.
we've been through it. Like, I mean, you know, it was, we've been seeing how people have been dealing with the chip crisis and the pandemic shortages, like, and now during tariffs, you know, we see a lot of all the things that people go through over and over and over again. All these pain points, you know. It's been interesting times, as they say.
Yeah.
Interesting
Speaking
times
of actually,
hardware.
yeah. Since you're based in Portland, here's a question: I'm assuming some people from Osh Park are going to be there as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So Drew from Osh Park, or
Yeah.
and Lane or Neil from Osh Park will both be there. And funnily enough, too, the guy who designed this T-shirt and a couple of the
It's
other
so
iconic.
good.
He works for us now. He works for Crowd Supply. He does
No
our
way.
T-shirts. So yeah, our T-shirts look sweet this year as well.
That's so exciting. Oh man. Okay. I will say in past years, like there was a bandana and a lunchbox that I still have, and those are like gorgeous. Like, what is there anything that you can spell about the swag potentially?
We've got some really nice. The T-shirts this year are really nice design. I think everybody's going to be pleased. T-shirts. We've got some. To be honest with you, I've not been really dealing with what goes in the swag bags. Like, that's not my department. That's
well,
my
I'm
colleague.
excited to be surprised, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be surprised too. I'll be like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing. I've been looking at the T-shirt and the stickers, but I've not been looking at anything else that goes in it. But I know we got some fun things. I definitely know we got some fun things. I think we got some mini tools as well coming from some of our sponsors, so that should be cool.
Ooh, very cool. Oh, there's so much I'm excited to see it with this, and so much that we could dig into, but I think it's time that we go through our tabs and have a look at the stuff that we talked about, and then we'll wrap up a little bit with any final thoughts. So we've got the main page, crowdsupply.com/teardown/Portland-2025. You can see it in the little banner there. And then we've got these wonderful keynotes that I'm very excited to see. I might actually be up in the morning. Fancy that. You can find the schedule online. I'm going to stop scrolling this so you don't get seasick. Also, the Crowd Supply YouTube page, which contains talks from previous years in their own little playlist. There's also Helen's series called the Teardown Sessions, which I never know if that's going to go under live or recorded or what, but all kinds of cool stuff on your... There we go.
Yeah.
Amazing. Are these designed by that same person who did the shirts, or is that...
Yes.
I detect an overlap in aesthetic. But cool. So go find that. And so you said that the talk should be up in about a week, but there's also going to be an experimental potential
experimental live stream. Indeed. Yeah.
Nice. We've got Helen's page at helenleigh.me, which I'll add to the description along with the rest of the links. Tons of cool stuff. Cory Doctorow going to be giving a keynote. Bunnie Huang also going to be giving a keynote. I could not find a good main page for Kate Stewart while I was just scrolling around here, but also going to be giving a keynote. And then I hadn't seen this about page before with its sort of, but it really, it's more than your usual about page, and has this whole like proclamation of user rights, which I think is fascinating, including like real world examples of how these would apply, like explicit permission to explore, hack, investigate, reverse engineer, and presumably repair falls under that as well, and all that good stuff. Really cool stuff in here. And then, and then we were just talking about a few other events. I pulled up the CCC page. Here's the camp page. But there's all kinds of other events that Helen mentioned that we can see you at again in the future. So thanks so much for joining, Helen. Do you have
You're so
anything you'd like to
welcome.
throw in there and make sure that we cover before we wrap up or highlight?
No, I just looking forward to seeing everybody who's coming to Teardown. If you are in Portland and you didn't get a ticket, please come along to the book signing where you can listen to Cory and Bunnie in conversation at the Barnes and Nobles. That's on Friday.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, just I'm excited.
Awesome.
It's
I'm
going to be.
so excited.
I know. I'm really excited to start. When do you get in?
I think Wednesday, but I might be a blob the day after. That
Yeah,
that sort of tends to happen for me, but I'm
sure.
gonna try and I know there's that event Wednesday and then a couple of things
Yeah, there's
Thursday, and I
nothing happening
really want to go to
Wednesday.
them.
Nothing
Huh?
happening Wednesday.
I thought there was like a
It's
pre. Isn't
there's
the hardware happy
a
hour on Wednesday? Am I
there's
lying?
there no How to Happy is on Thursday.
Oh, cool. Maybe I'm getting
Yeah.
in Thursday. I gotta check. Oh, but the Black Beauty
Original
workshop is on
Yeah,
Thursday,
it's
so
on
I'm gonna try and make
Thursday.
it back
Yeah, Thursday morning.
if at all possible.
So luckily for people who don't like to get up too early, the mall doors don't even open until 10 a.m.
Take that, early risers.
I know. I was like, they were like, "Oh, is it a problem that the doors don't open until 10 a.m.?" I was like, "It is a benefit." As far as
I
I'm
mean,
concerned, anyway.
I know there's probably like people like Paul from Pimroni who are coming from Europe. So sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. But
So
it's
it
not my
goes.
problem. It's not my fault. The mall just doesn't open until 10,
Good stuff.
which
All
suits
right.
me quite well.
Me too. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time to do this, Helen.
Oh,
What a pleasure
of
to talk to you
course.
all the time. And I can't wait to
Always.
see your exhibit at the
I
conference. It's
know.
gonna be
My
rad.
goodness.
Good stuff. Well, thanks everyone. Have an awesome rest of your week, and we'll catch you the next one. Hack on.
Hack on. Bye.